In the heart of Brazil's lush and endless wilderness, there exists a story that defies explanation. A tale so chilling, it lingers in the shadows of the internet, whispered by those drawn to the uncanny. This is the mystery of Hoer Verde, the village that disappeared without a trace. The year is 1923. Hoer Verde was a modest village, home to 600 residents who lived simple, quiet lives. Tucked away in a remote corner of Brazil, the settlement was surrounded by dense jungle, far from the prying eyes of the outside world. It was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone, and life moved at a slower, predictable pace. But one day, that predictability shattered. A team of government officials passing through the area stumbled upon Hoer Verde, or rather, what was left of it. The streets were eerily silent. Doors creaked on their hinges, swaying gently in the wind. Cooking fires had burned out, and food sat untouched on tables. Tools lay abandoned mid-task. It was as though the entire village had simply stood up and walked away. The officials searched every home, every alley, every corner of the village. There were no bodies, no signs of struggle, no tracks leading away from the settlement. It was as if the villagers had vanished into thin air. The only clue left behind was found in the local schoolhouse. Scrawled on a chalkboard in hurried, almost desperate handwriting were the words, "There is no salvation." The investigation begins. The discovery baffled the authorities, who launched a formal investigation. Soldiers and local police scoured the area for weeks, venturing deep into the jungle and combing through the abandoned homes. But no evidence of the villagers' whereabouts emerged. The village's livestock were left behind, some already starving or wandering aimlessly. It was as if whatever happened had occurred suddenly, leaving no time for preparation or explanation. The lack of evidence raised more questions than answers. There were no signs of violence or looting. The villagers' belongings, including valuables, were untouched. This wasn't the work of bandits or invaders. And yet, 600 people don't just disappear. The mysterious message on the chalkboard became the focal point of the investigation. Linguists and psychologists were brought in to analyze the handwriting and phrasing, but they could not determine who had written it or why. The ominous phrase seemed to hint at something catastrophic, but its vagueness left even the most seasoned investigators puzzled. As news of Hoer Verde's fate spread, speculation ran wild. Some claimed the villagers had been abducted by a rogue military group, citing political unrest in the region as a possible motive. Brazil in the 1920s was rife with tensions, and some believed the villagers might have been forcibly relocated or silenced to prevent them from witnessing sensitive operations. But this theory had holes. Why would an entire village be targeted? And why leave behind no evidence of the operation? Others suggested the villagers had fled en masse to escape an unknown threat. Perhaps an outbreak of disease had struck fear into their hearts, or they'd been warned of an impending natural disaster. But if they had fled, why weren't there any tracks or trails leading away from the settlement? And why abandon everything, even essentials like food and water? As plausible explanations fell short, the case attracted the attention of paranormal enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists. Their theories were far stranger. Some suggested the villagers had been abducted by extraterrestrial beings, taken aboard a spacecraft, and whisked away to parts unknown. After all, there were reports of strange lights in the skies over Brazil during that time, though such sightings were hardly reliable. Another theory involved a rift in reality itself. Could the villagers have unknowingly wandered into a portal to another dimension? Stories of such phenomena are rare but not unheard of, with accounts of people vanishing in forests, mountains, and other remote locations throughout history. The idea of an entire village slipping into an alternate reality was terrifying, and tantalizing. Others spoke of supernatural forces. Some believed the jungle, ancient and unyielding, had exacted a price for the settlers' encroachment. Local legends told of vengeful spirits, entities that protected the land from outsiders. Perhaps the message on the chalkboard was a final warning, a plea for forgiveness that came too late. Hoer Verde's location deep within the Brazilian jungle added another layer of mystery. The jungle is a place of wonder and danger, home to countless species of plants and animals, many of which remain undiscovered. It's also a place of isolation, where the line between reality and myth blurs. Travelers and explorers have long reported strange occurrences, disembodied voices, unexplained lights, and feelings of being watched. Some researchers suggested that Hoer Verde's disappearance could be linked to the jungle's natural phenomena. The Amazon is known for its singing trees, plants that emit eerie sounds as they release gas, and its ability to disorient even the most experienced navigators. Could something in the environment have driven the villagers to madness or caused them to vanish? Over the years, attempts to revisit Hoer Verde have been met with mixed success. The jungle's relentless growth has reclaimed much of the area, making it nearly impossible to locate the original site. Some who ventured in search of answers reported strange occurrences: malfunctioning equipment, inexplicable sounds, and an overwhelming sense of dread. One researcher claimed to have found a weathered journal in the ruins of the schoolhouse, but its pages were too degraded to be legible. Another spoke of finding crude carvings on nearby trees, symbols that didn't match any known language. Were these remnants of the villagers' final days, or simply the product of imagination? The legend of Hoer Verde raises unsettling questions. How could an entire population vanish without a trace? What force, natural or otherwise, could erase 600 people so completely? And most chilling of all, could it happen again? In the decades since Hoer Verde's disappearance, similar stories have emerged. Small communities disappearing overnight, lone travelers vanishing from well-trodden paths. While most of these cases can be explained, a few remain as perplexing as Hoer Verde. Some believe the village's fate serves as a warning, a reminder of humanity's fragility in the face of the unknown. Others see it as an invitation, a puzzle waiting to be solved, if only the right pieces can be found. Whatever the truth, the story of Hoer Verde continues to haunt those who hear it, a chilling reminder that some mysteries refuse to be tamed. Advancements in technology have reignited interest in Hoer Verde. Satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar have been proposed as tools to locate the village and uncover clues. Yet logistical and environmental challenges remain, and the jungle guards its secrets fiercely. Psychologists have also weighed in, suggesting that mass hysteria or a shared psychotic episode could explain the villagers' behavior. Such phenomena, though rare, have been documented, particularly in isolated communities. But this theory struggles to account for the physical disappearance of 600 people. Some have even proposed that the message on the chalkboard was a red herring, left by an outsider who stumbled upon the empty village and sought to deepen the mystery. If so, it was a masterstroke. The phrase, "there is no salvation," continues to captivate imaginations, its meaning as elusive as the villagers themselves. For now, Hoer Verde remains an enigma. The jungle's silence, broken only by the rustle of leaves and the calls of unseen creatures, seems to echo the unanswered questions. What happened to the villagers? What did they see, hear, or feel that drove them to abandon their homes? And what, if anything, is still out there, waiting in the shadows? Perhaps the answers lie buried in the Brazilian jungle, waiting to be uncovered. Or perhaps, like the villagers of Hoer Verde, they are lost to time, leaving only a haunting echo of what once was. For now, the story remains unsolved, a chilling reminder that even in our modern world, some mysteries endure. So the next time you hear a creak in the floorboards, or feel the inexplicable urge to glance over your shoulder, remember, there are places in this world where people simply disappear.